The Lacey Park Culture and Recreation Board meeting. It is June 7th, 2023, 5:30 p.m. or 5:31, excuse me, for the correction there. I'd like to call this meeting to order. For our additions or deletions to the agenda, I would like to propose moving item 7B to 8E, just for the sake of some of our people in our public that would like to speak tonight. That being said, I would like to motion to do that. Is there a second?
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving into introductions and announcements.
Wait, did we have a, sorry,
Mhm.
he seconded, we have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did somebody motion?
Yes, we had a motion and it was seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to introductions and announcements. We would like to start online. Want to start with, let's see,
Commissioners first?
Commissioners first online.
Hi, my name is Aaron Wheeler, Lacey Park Commissioner.
Thank you. Hi, Commissioner Wheeler. Hillary, would you like to go next? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, my computer was, it's not behaving tonight. My name is Hillary Dykstra, Parks Commissioner. I also have a buddy with me tonight, so if you hear things, my son.
Hi, Commissioner Dykstra. Okay, Commissioner Fosbury.
Hi, this is Bill Fosbury, Commissioner. Sorry, I couldn't be there in person. I had to stay for a late meeting. I didn't want to drive and do this, so.
Oh, I like your office.
It's a fake background right now, but yeah, that's my office.
All right. And Sue, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Sue Faylash. I'm the Recreation Manager for the Parks, Culture, and Recreation Department.
Thank you. Jamie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jamie Oakland. I'm the Parks Maintenance Supervisor.
Hi, Jamie. Welcome. And then we have Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Smith. I'm the Executive Assistant for the Parks, Culture, and Recreation Department.
Thanks, Sarah. Is that everyone? Did I get you?
I think that's everybody on the
That's
screen.
online, okay. And then in the room, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Jen Burbidge, Director of Parks, Culture, and Recreation for the City of Lacey.
Sarah.
I'm Sarah Town and I'm the youth representative for the Parks Board.
I'm Lacey Parks Culture and Recreation Commissioner Chair Wendy Goodwin.
Isaiah Bamoto, Public Enemy #1.
Oh, wow. And self-titled.
I'm Eto Patani. I'm with Isaiah.
Gary Larson, Parks Commissioner.
Chris Perazzo, Parks Commissioner.
I'm Ashley Smith, the Design and Construction Manager for the City of Lacey.
I'm Jenny Wilson. I'm the Recreation Supervisor for the department.
And we also have some guests over here. Hello, thank you for coming.
I'm Amelia Means. I'm a 7th-year Girl Scout.
Oh, wonderful.
Jackie Means. I'm co-leader of Troop 45298 with the Mini Library Proposal.
Wonderful, welcome. Welcome everyone to our meeting today. And do we have, is there anybody online currently that's up not being seen? I can.
No, not currently.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, and do we have any announcements for today, Jen?
I do have one just that very exciting on June 30th at 2:30 p.m. The Senior Services for South Sound is celebrating their 50th birthday. So they're joking about the senior center being senior. And it's also kind of a double celebration because it's the 20th birthday of the Virgil S. Clarkson Senior Center. And so it's going to be a nice celebration and they wanted to make sure that everybody knew that they were invited and welcome to attend.
On June 30th?
June 30th at 2:30 at the Senior Center in Lacey. That's over at Woodland Creek Park.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, moving on to item number 4, the approval and correction of May meeting minutes. So bear with us, we have quite a few meeting minutes going on. So I would like to make a motion to like to make a motion to do something. Hold on a second, let me get through my papers here. Make a motion. I would like to make a motion to approve the May 3rd, 2023 Park Board meeting minutes as written. Is there a second?
Second that motion.
Motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of approving the May 3rd, 2023 Park Board meeting minutes, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Hearing none, and there's no discussion, motion carries. Moving on to 4B, November 14th, 2022 COE joint meeting minutes. I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any discussions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Sorry, I'm waiting for the computer. All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4C, I'd like to make a motion to approve the January 25th, 2023 COE joint meeting minutes. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. Oh.
Here's your helper.
Ransom says aye.
Oh, hi. Moving on to item 4D, I'd like to make a motion to approve the May 30th, 2023 Park Board Tour meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the May 30th, 2023 Park Board Tour meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Moving on to 5, correspondence. I trust that everyone's read the 6 items that were sent to us in our packets. And it looks like they were all responded to. So thank you for the information and keeping us informed. Next, we are moving on to public comment. Were there any public comments that came in today via email before 3:30 p.m.?
No, there were not.
Thank you. Are there any public in attendance at City Hall who wish to address the board at this time? It's not scheduled.
These guys are all scheduled.
Yeah. Are there any public in attendance by calling in on the phone or participating via Zoom who wish to address the board?
There are none, no.
Thank you. All right. Going on to old business, Greg Cuyo Park Phase 1A, presented by Ashley Smith Design and Construction Manager.
Yeah, and actually, I'm gonna get us started. I'm gonna give the regular update, and then we did ask Ashley to come, and thank you so much for being here, because there were a couple of questions, just kind of going back in time a little bit about the water discussion, and there might be some other technical questions that the board is interested in asking. But I'll give a quick overview of where we're at. Since your last Parks Board meeting, staff met with the consultants on May 16th. Regarding the 90% review, we are looking forward to getting that on June 13th is the new date. As you all know, it's been delayed. The city will then review it, if that stays on time, until June 27th. And Commissioner Larson, that's when we would give you that hard copy for the 2 weeks. We are anticipating permit submittals mid-July, and then still anticipating 100% design started by beginning of November. And we're still on track for going out to add at the beginning of next year and constructing and opening the park in 2024 to the public. So that's kind of my overview of where we're at.
Are there any specific questions that the board had in regards to the design or the construction schedule?
Why has there been such a delay, I guess?
It's a good question. The consultant firm that we hired had one of their sub-consultants with some staff turnover. So we lost some key players on the design team. They fell behind schedule on that, and we felt it prudent to do a complete QA, QC of that package with the new engineer that was going to be designing the remainder and make sure that everything was cohesive and no major conflicts. So right now we have a third party reviewing that full package to provide comment back to us before we proceed.
Third party meaning you.
A separate engineering firm is reviewing it as an independent reviewer.
Can I ask who the party was that didn't perform?
The sub-consultant assigned to the project was Skillings Inc. But again, the design engineer that was working on the project is no longer with the firm, so it's been a different engineer that
Skilling's
picked it
still
up.
involved, the company.
Say again?
Skilling's is still involved.
That's correct. They're
as a
still
primary
completing the
civil.
design at this time,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, and they've got a turnover. Okay,
Same company, different players.
Yes.
yeah. Makes sense.
That works.
Should have hired me.
I thought you were retired. You have cars
Well, I
to
work
drive.
all the time.
You work all the time. You're retreaded.
Right,
Gotcha.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I think there were questions about the water. I think Commissioner Fosbury maybe had a question, and I think Commissioner Larson. Just about
Yeah,
the-
I'm kind of confused that we're going, I've been around the block in a few of these situations that we're building a park
Mhm.
with no water. We're putting landscaping in with no water. We can't afford to waste the taxpayers' money to have a contractor obligated to plant water, trees and shrubbery. It's not a good cost effective, and I can't believe that we can't in the interim, since we're outside the urban growth boundary area, not city water available, that we cannot get a temporary water right permit to drill a well to do that. I mean, it just beyond me. I've done them at South Bay, had emergency coming up at Horizons, and I worked with DOE and we got water.
Mhm.
I mean, it's how you push them and make them understand. They'll tell you no on everything.
Understood. This project is on a very aggressive schedule. As you all know, it's been pushed faster than any of us anticipated for construction after we completed the master plan. So, getting the design complete and out to add this year is already a tall order.
Yeah.
Getting a water rights permit in line with that schedule is much taller. There is water infrastructure planned in the design. So their contractor would be putting in, all the below ground infrastructure to support a future connection.
Right.
But the reality is there's no water service in that area, and bringing it down there is gonna cost well over $1 million.
Well, I realize that. What I'm saying is going to drill a well.
Understood.
Yeah, I was at the public meeting when the one guy offered that he would give water to the site. Of course, if you can't let the public drink it, unless city took over and did a Class A water system to have public have access to the water, but to me, it is unheard of to spend that much money. And I mean, I'm kind of, to me, you got to push it. I had emergencies, the wells go down, drill the new wells, kids were in school. They just don't shut the door. DOE is not that bad people.
Understandable. I mean, water rights is definitely a complicated issue. It's not something that we could accomplish in a 6-month period by any means. So the reality of acquiring the water rights, if DOE were to permit it, and constructing a well that could support the construction of the site would totally derail our schedule at this point. And it has been a council priority to get this park opened at a minimum.
Well, what is the
Level to the
plan then?
public.
How to water all the plants. So I saw the preliminary, some of the, all the plantings.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the contractor do it, is the way I read it.
That's correct. The requirement is that the contractor is responsible to establish the plantings and maintain them for the 1-year warranty
For
period.
your warranty,
Mhm.
but still, you know what that costs to send a water truck out there under prevailing wages every day?
Yes, I do.
Like this heat, it's not practical. In my book, it's a big frustration of mine, as you can see, but I think somebody needs to shake a little chain and see what, I don't know how much you've gotten involved with DOE or you just believe consultants tell you what they want you to hear. It's beyond me that we couldn't acquire a temporary, even if it's not potable water, irrigation water, a temporary 2-year, 5-year water permit.
Is there also concerns for safety if there were a fire or something that went out there? Do we have something in place if there were to be a safety hazard of fire?
No, I don't think there's any storage plan, is there?
Storage plan on site.
Yeah,
No.
on-site fire flow storage, yeah. I didn't see anything like, and I don't think it's necessary.
But it's all been vetted by our building department.
Yes, the fire marshal did review the plan, in the master plan in particular, and recommended a vegetation management to support fire risk being low, and we're also not permitting any burning apparatus like
There's no.
Yeah.
grills or anything like
Grill,
that will be
anything.
allowed at the park.
And have we-
Commissioner Dykstra has a hand raised online, just so you know.
Oh, I was curious if, maybe a way to mitigate the need for a lot of watering could be making sure that we're planting native species to the area and the landscaping. Because they're already like acclimated to our drought season and wet season and stuff like that. And if it was included in the plan, I don't remember. I just was curious if that had been considered to help with mitigating the need for water.
Yes, definitely. That's a good suggestion. Commissioner Larson, one thing that I know you've reviewed the 60% plan set, or I believe you had. The most recent plan set that you haven't seen yet is where we've scaled back the vegetation for that exact reason.
Okay.
To lower cost, to the required threshold for development that we would ask of any
Well,
developer.
would you consider then, if I got the bid, doing the job and it's August and I'm working in there, wait till the rainy seasons, you give the contractor the flexibility to take advantage of nature. So the contractor sending a water truck out there, prevailing wages, big bucks every day.
I understand. Our specifications require planting only between October and May.
So that would
One
minimize
thing,
impact.
yes, so that would require them to take advantage of the seasonal environment that's best for the plantings to
Yeah,
get
okay.
established. Yes,
You pick plants that the deers don't eat, right?
yeah.
Most
of-
eat everything.
In this phase, most of the plantings that we're focusing on are, reforestation, wetland development, that type of thing, that are native to the area. So, this isn't going to be a boulevard of street trees or anything like that. It's not the intended development here. That helps. I know it's frustrating to not have that as part of this phase. But the goal to get this open so that the public can use it with what the city can manage right now is what we're moving forward with.
And have we done this in the past where we've had a park set up in this fashion? Where there were restrooms or water sources supplied in the phasing in the
Well,
beginning?
We have a lot of parks without restrooms.
Active now.
Active now, yep. And as far as, I'm not 100% sure about like water to the site, but this is probably the most remote site that we've ever worked with, and so that's part of the challenge. But like Ashley said, when you're faced with the decisions for budget and timeline, we came up with the things that the public wanted to see the most out there, which was the disc golf and trails and playground. And we've got a large shelter out there for people to use, and And yeah, it's gonna be a fantastic phase 1A.
Another thing to consider, Fire District 8, I think it's a service area. Isn't it?
I believe that is Fire District 8.
Yeah, 8, I built
Yeah.
that fire station.
Uh-huh.
They have storage tanks at South Bay Elementary. So that, you know, in case of an event of a forest fire or something get caught there, you know, make them on alarm. But also when I did a project out of Pleasant Glade, we mined 40,000 yards of sand out of there and took it over to North Thurston. One of the most cooperative fire districts I ever seen was number 3. They were watering the roads for the school district because it was a change order. We saved about 250,000. And they were so cooperative. I mean, unbelievable. They were running fire trucks, cleaning the roads and adding the ball. And we had to do it in fast order in the summer months. But those are pretty good resources for, you know, if there is to make them aware of it and make sure they got the keys and the access, which they will have, but for that reason, because if we get a dry season next year too. Need to see it all
Yeah.
burned down.
Well, because it is so remote. I guess that's because it is kind of a newer one out in a place where we're not. Where some of the other parks are neighborhood, they're coordinated, lots of people's eyes on it. This one's a little more vast on the distance. That's my thing, is the safety concern if something were to happen. Because we can say we're not gonna have people smoking out there, but that's not guaranteed, so, or lighting a fire or doing some activities that we're not safe.
The homeless.
Again, we're going through all of the proper, you know, safety requirements and permitting, et cetera.
That is good to know.
Just wanted to share when we didn't have water and up in our HOA and a splatted land, we used people that like even cleaned trash cans or did the moss removal because they have water tanks and it was a fraction of the cost of water trucks because it was their off season and they were happy for the work. So that might be an option. I am curious about the playground equipment. How inclusive are we going to be as far as not just having a child in a wheelchair being able to get out there, but actually have equipment that they could use?
Good question. That's been a major point of focus with the design team.
Oh, good.
We have brought in some community members during the master plan phase 2 to get feedback on what, you know, they had children with special needs and things that provided some really good insight to what to focus on the design. So I believe every piece that we've selected has can accommodate persons with disabilities. In addition to the ADA play surfacing that will be moving forward with the whole playground area.
That warms my heart. Thank you. I'm glad that's a focus.
Yeah, and something that we've learned along the way is that just making sure that there's a lot of open space so that kids can, you know, either run around or travel around in what other means that they use is really important for to make the playground inclusive. So it's not necessarily always the actual equipment, but just that you're providing space for kids to play together, no matter what their abilities are.
We have a little girl in our neighborhood that she can get to the equipment, but it's not accommodating. And if we can have even one piece of equipment that can accommodate a wheelchair, I just think we would be on the cutting edge of what all parks should have.
Any other questions for Ashley? Okay, thank you. Great. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Ashley, thank you so much, Ashley.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
You don't mind me just looking for that file before you leave,
Yeah.
just to make sure I can find it.
And drive. City clerk. The modern staff presentations.
Okay.
And then other presentations.
Okay.
Cricket Field. So I want to see the history of
Okay.
this area.
You're welcome.
I wouldn't even see the history.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Ashley. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks for staying in the game.
Stay on them.
I know, stay tough, stay tough.
Oh, yeah, that's what the. We had one person who was like really big. So really small.
Is that everything first? Okay. Ashley's fine. All right. All right. So now we're moving on to new business, the cricket field request, new business 8A. And this is for Isaiah and Tim.
Yeah. And if you don't mind for me just to kick off the conversation.
You're on new business. We're right. Let me help you. I'm sorry.
So we had asked the cricket group to come back and share some near-term and longer-term requests. And so this is the same process we went through when we had a room full of pickleball players that wanted pickleball courts, and yes, rugby as well. We look at, you know, what can we do in the near term? And then what are some longer-term goals? And what we have found out since we last spoke is that we have been looking for space. We have deemed the Meridian Park field is not playable. And I know that's something that you had looked at before. But we found space at Horizon Point on Fridays, and we think that that might be a good spot. But let's definitely go through and go through the process, and then we can show you kind of the aerial view of what we were thinking.
Can I sit on this side here? I just wanna.
You can sit wherever you want.
Oh, I see wherever. You guys have a laser pointer?
No.
No, it's okay. Well, all right. Well, good evening, everyone. Isaiah Vimoto, of course, the veteran. We were here, my brother Tim here, we were here last time. But it's good to be here again. Thanks for the invitation. I know Jen, so for the next hour, we will talk to you. Is that hour?
No.
I'm just.
They're all like.
All right, so
No,
I got you. Well, so for the next few minutes, we will share a little bit more about the cricket as we spoke at last time. And again, give a little some way ahead and also some course of action. So again, so the question we asked up front, why a cricket field? I think you guys from last time. And I hope that you guys did your assignment I gave you last time is go YouTube, look about how to play cricket, and that way you have, if you have any questions for me today, if you didn't do it, that's okay. So can we go next slide? So why a cricket field, right? So keep that in mind, why? So right there. So if both of those are videos, if you can go to the left one there, either one of those videos right there, yeah. So these are the left side, that's the men's team, right? And the right side that you'll see. So you probably see the location is very familiar to you. That is over at our Lacey Community Center Park sidewalk. So that's where they play, you know, and of course, you can see how it requires a hard surface to play the game, right? So women on one side, men on the other side, the youth are pretty much kind of intermingle with the adults for the time being. So you see some youth right there catching the ball. So that's kind of like give you an idea of how the game is played, you know, in the little snippets there, but also shows you where they're currently practicing. As Jen mentioned, we did talk about Meridian, but it's unfeasible at this time because it's just dirt out there, you know, it needs hard surface football to be played. Okay, so next slide, please. So keep that in mind as you go through where are we currently playing and why we need a field. So facts, right? So this is, there's over 104 countries, you know, really internationally that plays cricket. That really are members of this into ICC or the International Cricket Council. So that's 104 countries that reported. That does not mean that, the United States not in there, but I found out in my recent research, the game is now played in the US. It's starting to play in the US, right? So they got the United States, as you see there. The second point right there is in Major League Cricket. That's the United States stuff right there. So they're coming up with their 2020 cricket. So they will, they'll be played here in of course, in the US, beginning in July 13th, right? So they will start out with like 6 teams in major US cities. And that game will be played in Texas. So really, the game is now, it was international, but now the US are getting into this stuff here, because just like any other sport, right? And then number 3 right there, Somasegar, you guys probably know who that guy is. That guy right there, he's an of Indian descent. He's one of the multi-millionaire who live in Seattle. What I didn't know until my recent research, there are teams that are already playing cricket in Washington, especially in Seattle, because a lot of Indians of descent that come here for work. They work at Google or Amazon, those big tech companies up there. So that's what brought them here. And just like anywhere else, they bring their culture with them. Cricket is one of those things. So this guy, Summer Singer, if you can see there, along with the, he's part owner of the Seattle Sounders. So he and several other members are there, the local tech elite, right? They're forming this new team here in, it'll be called Seattle Orca. That's going to be the Seattle cricket team to play international. So that's, and their first year there again, they'll be playing the season there in July, as I mentioned, the bullet above, right? So what does that tell us? It's growing sport right now in the US, it's beginning. And then of course, number 4 right there, modified league plays, a play has several local teams. So that's the one I briefed last time. Those are the leagues that are held up in Seattle, Tacoma, and here in Lacey, and actually even down in Portland. So that's where our teams play at the modified. The reason I say modified, because they don't play international rules. The international play is a lot different. The equipment is a lot different. A hard hat, hard ball, knee pads, elbow pads, and so on. The way the modified play here is similar. The only thing also with modified play, it's got way more players than international rules. As I mentioned, they're consistent of 20-member team, right? Not 20 team, but 20 members. So, and it depends on the league. Some leagues can have up to 30 member. It depends on if it's a small tournament, like very few teams. Okay, yeah, you can have 30 members, right? So that's what it is. So that's where our teams, and right there, number 5, the city of Lacey, we have 3 20-person team. Again, that's just, on average, weekend is way more than that, but that's just because of the size of the team is 20. Most of the time, it could be 30, 40. Some people may show something, hey, go run in there for Susie, or Susie, go run in for Jen, so everybody gets to play. But those are facts right there that we know as, right now. So again,
Can we go back to that your video? I'm curious, the last time you were here, you were talking about the portable pitch.
I'm gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
I'll get there.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
You're just excited. You want to play cricket already,
I'm
huh?
very curious what's gonna cost $5,000.
I got you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So is that the next one now? So, okay. So the course of action here, because of my time, right? So we talked about last time about the permanent field. What does that look like? Permanent field is a concrete cricket pitch. Remember the concrete pitch I mentioned? The dimension is 4.5 feet by 70 feet, right? So really it's just the size of a sidewalk, the width of the sidewalk pretty much. And then the length is, is 70 feet or up to 70 feet. The field also, again, that's just a pitch. That's a little concrete slab in the middle of the field. But the field has to be big enough to accommodate 20 outfielders, right? So 20 outfielders, that's a lot. It's not baseball. Baseball, what, you got 11, something like that, or something like that. But this is 20 stuff. So that means that's why, what's that field over here that's why a lot of these fields will not work, because you need spaces for the game. So the proposed location, again, this is me and my little assessment there. So the rack would be a great location. And again, where in the rack? Between 2 soccer fields. If you can go to figure 1, Jen.
Is it the next?
It's, I think it's like 2 slides down. So no, up.
Oh, shoot.
I think there's arrows up.
There you go, up. Oh, maybe just down.
Down?
No, down. Wow, I'm missing a slide. Okay, I'm missing a slide.
Okay.
Course of action. All right, okay, never mind then. All right. So, but listen, now go back up. Yeah, go back to the slide. Okay, so, yeah. So the proposed location of that, you see, I had a picture of the soccer field up there in the
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So that's what figure 1 was.
We can pull up a Google map.
Okay, and then the second location is the Woodlawn Creek up there in the top with the disc golf. I paced it off. I said, this would be a perfect location. I'm sure there are other bigger fields that I have not been to, but those fields, really the good thing about those fields, both fields have ample parking spaces for people. Because remember, we talked about it before, it's not just the members, that people that play, it's a family affair. So when people will come, especially if we host our own tournaments, we need parking space. Both of those fields are pretty good. Also away from, both Both fields are away from natural lines of drift. Natural lines of drift is kind of little military term away from, avenues of approach, or busy areas where there's kids, there's other people there. I kind of throw that in there. So Jen, if you can go to next, it should be the next one. There should be another one there. Okay, so let's go to portable here since we already had. So this is the portable pitch that we talked about here. So the portable pitch is a similar dimension as the other ones, about 4.5 by 70 feet, right? So there it is. You can roll it out and play. The beauty of this one here, you can play this at any available field and big enough to accommodate the dimension, like I mentioned, the 20-man team and so on. Once you're done play, you roll it up just like on the right, figure on the right side, and you carry it away, put it in the storage, so that's your, again, the quality one is, okay, can you go to the next one, Jen? The continuation of the portable pitch, it costs around, 3,000 to 5,000, per one of those things. One of the beauty of that too is minimum time to acquire compared to, if we were to go with that versus the concrete one. The games can be played at any available field, easily stored, does not disrupt the ground. I think I was talking to somebody last time, we don't have to dig the ground to implant anything or anything. We just load it up and go. And then, of course, inexpensive repair or replacement of that. We don't have to worry about, hey, concrete's cracked because of whatever. No, we got to put it off limits, got to wait for a city to bring somebody out here for the next 5 months to fix it or something like that. This one is pretty easy to replace.
How long would they last?
Well, I never play on these things. I'm an island boy. We used to sell it, But a statistic goes really, because the only time you play is for playing. So it lasts anywhere from, I guess, because of the materials as well. It could last anywhere up to 5 years as long as you take care of it. The main thing when I read the reviews, as long as, just like anything else, you play, put away, not just left on the element like, well, we won't do that anyway with something like that, because otherwise we'll grow legs and walk away, so.
And are you planning on this being is this a year-round sport?
So cricket is always, is a year-round sport. It's a summer sport around here. And like I said, that's what it starts in May until September. So those are the window when they play here in our area, Lacey, Tacoma and Seattle.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
The 4x7 is 4.5.
Yes, sir.
And then you got a field outside of that where other people are playing?
Yes, sir. So the
I
field,
didn't watch my video.
oh, you watch the video,
Oh,
see?
you gotta go do your homework.
Yeah, so if you can go back, yeah.
Do the video.
Okay, so
So pretend that's your
we're
little,
using this as the pitch.
yes, that's
the
the pitch,
sidewalk.
yes. But in the field, if you see they're not, that's not 20 people out there. That's like maybe a dozen. And even when they're hit, if you just go out there any day, when they practice, look at it, they're really, when they hit the ball, they're not really giving it a swing. They're just practicing, because, remember what's on the right side of that? That's a pond. Yeah, we don't have no scuba guys out there looking for the balls, right? And what's on the left of that, or, got a playground, and then of course a parking lot. So really when they just need the area to practice, and what they're doing is just hitting it. So you see the women, the same thing. The women, you see their pitch, they're more like, a little bowling pitch, while the man's more like overhead pitch. So that answer your question? No. So you gotta watch your video next time, sir, All right, if you go to the next slide, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so next one is, so what? Well, so what about this, there's a need for a cricket field. It's an emerging sport, as I mentioned in the beginning. Hosting games and tournaments brings revenue to our community when we host our own stuff. Number 3 right there, designated cricket field avoids unnecessary injuries. As if you see the videos, the location where they're practicing, there could be, thank God, nothing has happened yet. There's been some complaints of people walking because, hey, I'm trying to walk, there's people, but I've been out there a few times and when the people walking, they stop, until they pass and go on. But again, it's an injury, it's an accident that's prone to happen if we, which I hope not. Third one there, or fourth one is, emergence of this sport gives the citizens of our city an opportunity to learn and participate in a new sport, just like pickleball. Just recently, y'all build pickleball, and what they say, build it and they will come, right? I heard that there was a lot of pushback in the beginning, but look at that. You can get people off that court, I couldn't even get on the court. I go to my gears like, hey, can I get in there? You know, and then of course, the last thing right there, you know, there's many more, but playing cricket contributes to overall health and fitness of everyone. Since that's our goal, is got to remain young, stay young, you know, get out there and something new. Think, what's the next one there? Okay, any question? I'm trying to keep it within my time. Yes, sir?
We got a senior league.
Sure, we can, if you go out there, you can be the captain.
You can start your senior
There
league.
you go. We can start senior leagues, sir. You and me and, you know, Jen. No.
Getting our senior league.
Yeah. So what are your question, pending anybody's questions?
That's my question is, for the, I mean, we have 32 parks in Lacey and we're discussing, I mean, that they can move from any area if we do it on the
The
portable.
portable, yes.
Yeah, and you're saying Woodlawn Creek and Rack
The
would be
Rack, yeah.
two of the options and you're.
For the permanent, yeah.
You want those are.
No, I
for
say
perm-
if we go with a permanent one, those are the ideal location for the permanent one. That's a concrete one,
Okay,
you know? But like I said, but as far as for the portable, it could be any of those fields at all
okay.
and big enough. But
So
then-
would you need our support? I mean, would you need something if you had portable instead of doing the permanent?
Yeah,
I mean, as far as tournament and all of that, I mean. we can-
But do I need some? Yes, I need you guys to buy that for, you know?
Yeah.
Well, as a city, we will request it, you know, of course, we'll sign for it, you know, play it and put it back, you know? So that's the number. So, and again, I think that's a course of action number one. If you ask me, what would I go with? I think the easiest turnaround would be the portable. And then, of course, long-term, you know, or course of action two would be the permanent one, because as Jen, our discussion last time, it takes a while because I understand the process.
Yeah, and so-
We would bring it back and then somebody else would be able to borrow it? Is that what we're
Yes.
saying?
Yeah, well, it belongs to the park. It's just like anything else. We go to the park, just like you gotta go there to sign in. Hey, I want to play. Okay, well, let's see who, or there's soccer tournament going on that day. Sorry, you can't use it. Or there's rugby going on. So it'd be just like any other sport. I had to coordinate through the parks, you know, for the available days, see, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we would just have to talk through, so I guess that was my biggest question was, does it stay out? Because if, you know, if there was, we have identified Horizon Point as a very large space, that it actually could probably, between the two soccer fields, just stay out there. Because it might be a little cumbersome to take it in and take it out, and if
Yeah.
there's not storage at the site.
Yeah.
I mean, we would just have to kind of talk through those things. If you are requesting for the city to purchase it, that would have to be a budget request that we make. And for the longer term item, I did give them the park enhancement form. So that's the new policy that you all had approved. So that would be for more like the concrete setup. But for the temporary, so is the request for the city to purchase it or your club to purchase it?
Well, I mean, I'm pitching this because, you know, the city provide, just like we provide every other field for our citizens, right? So I feel that we should not have to buy these things. I mean, but if we have to, if it comes down to it, because it takes a year to do that, then we've already discussed, hey, if it takes that long, we might do some fundraising, you know, and maybe, you know, buy a pitch of our own and it's kind of, you know, and then we go through if it comes down to it. But that's why I recommend the portable one, because I'm assuming it'd be an easier turnaround or faster turnaround versus the concrete one. The other thing I mentioned about the concrete one, I mean, all I need is just, hey, you tell me, okay, you're author, because these associations, they're ready, they want to build it. They want to volunteer their time, they want to put in, we'll buy the concrete. You know, we'll buy the concrete, we'll put in the manpower, plus they have the expertise, right? We just need authorization.
Yeah, so that's the enhancements request. So they would fill it out. The next time those get reviewed is August.
Okay.
But if you're looking at something more quickly, you know, there wouldn't be time. We just do budget requests once a year. So we wouldn't have $3,000 to $5,000 in our budget currently. So if that was something that you wanted more quickly, the way we typically operate is that if the club wants to purchase that temporary equipment, and then we could figure out like where it could go and, you know, who's moving. Basically, you would be responsible for
Yeah,
that.
no, I got you. Because if we purchase it, then we'll control that. That's no problem. Maybe it's just me requesting the field to be used, you know, the available field. But my whole goal here, our goal of just, you know, is for the city to provide that opportunity for our, you know, the people that, you know, to play cricket.
Commissioner Dykstra has her hand raised, if you have a moment.
Sorry.
Say it again.
I think, sorry, you've been answering my questions, so I'll lower my hand, sorry.
And Sue, did you want to weigh in a little bit on this?
Yeah, I do. I think one of the things I want to make sure is very clear is, especially if you're using something like either the rack or even a Horizon Point, if it's needing to have those two fields, it's going to have to pay for the two fields. So instead of say $30 an hour for a soccer field, if you're needing both, it's going to be $60 some an hour to play out there. And the hard part about putting a permanent one on any of the, whether it be Horizon Point or the rack, is we have multi-uses out there that when we're having to shut things down, the fields get reconfigured. And if you're putting something permanent in there, that takes away our entire ability to reconfigure any of the fields. So like at Horizon Point, you got soccer now doing soccer, but then as soon as we hit fall, we're going to have football out there and they use the entire deal. So we have to be, it's great to have something like that. But real conscientious that we do have multiple users, and we don't purchase everything for everybody. A lot of our soccer goals have been purchased by Chinquali booters. The rugby goals were purchased by Deschutes Rugby. So there is a lot of the user groups that are providing these items that they need to fulfill their goal.
We'd be happy to, I mean, I know staff has been vetting like every single facility that we have, and there's also school district facilities that we schedule, and that would just be a matter of getting permission from the school district for something like that, so.
Now, Sue, for the rack, right? So that's why I wish the slide where it came up, because on the top field, if you can go up to the top field.
5 and 6.
5 and 6. I'm trying to share the screen. Why is that not working?
Commissioner Dykstra has her hand up again, if you don't mind.
I was curious if you've seen, Isaiah, if you've seen fields with permanent cricket pitches, if there's a permanent cricket pitch, is that field only able to be used for cricket, or have you seen it in a multi-purpose field situation? I think that would be helpful for us to know too, is if later down the road we were to install a permanent one, how we can make it a multi-purpose, still keep the field a multi-purpose field.
Yeah, so if you look at if you remember from my presentation, there were 2 fields I recommended, right? So one was a rack, and we couldn't get a slide up. But if you've been up you guys been up the rack on the top where there's 2 soccer fields side by side, right? In between those 2 soccer fields, I think I paced it up the other day, there's like 12 paces in between those, right? In between there but what I had in mind was the ideal location for this pitch. Because the pitch is not like a 5 feet high or anything. It's just ground level. So you can still perform soccer. You still do everything else in between those 2 soccer fields. It's just I guess you can pay where people stand and cheer their team and so on. So it's not interfering with any sport at all.
Well,
go ahead, Sue.
If it's just sitting for those soccer fields and that's the only configuration, then you're absolutely correct. It would, but we don't always have just that configuration. When we're starting to shut pools or goals down, we've also shifted the field into the middle so that the 2 outer goal mouths can recuperate. We have the lake where we have volleyball up there. We have ultimate frisbee tournaments up there. That having a permanent thing would complicate being able to run those multiple different events.
No, I hear you, Sue, but like I said, the field,
that's where temporary would be great because we could move it up and down and still have access.
I really like the permanent idea just because we do have open spaces,
Yes.
but I think like Wonderwood is very open. I mean, Wonderwood could support a portable. I think it's got plenty of room.
Yeah.
We just reserve it for.
Wonderwood's okay, but it's still kind of not suitable. I've walked Wonderwood as well. I'm with you, Sue. Like I said, that's why I said, the number one course of action I'll recommend is the portable one, because one is, I'm assuming it's easier to get, and also is you can play anywhere. And that was also the reason why I put up there. You don't have to disrupt the ground or anything. But I'm saying, the reason why I said those two locations, if we were to go pursue long-term, like, that's where I would go. And then I think I've done analysis where it's not something that protrudes out of the ground that will hinder, you can still do everything else. And the same thing up there, the second, I think, got a name to ask a question. The second field up there was, the woodland. Again, it's just a slab on the ground, a pitch. It's a ground level, so people can still do their frisbee, running around, walk their dog, run the dog, what have you. It's not going to impede any other, things there. So that's why I selected those two fields.
Woodland Creek,
The
Woodland
Woodland,
Creek,
yes,
yeah.
yes. So, but again, but you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
I would prefer the pitch, the portable one, which they easily move, easily put away.
Outside of that.
Sir? Well, remember now, the pitch has to be in the middle of the field, right? But the
Right.
field has to be big enough to accommodate 20 outfielders.
How far out is that? 300 feet?
Yeah, well, most fields like about 300, depends on size, but like I said,
Center.
yes, sir, yes. So from the center here, it can go out to 200, 300 feet, meters, and then sometimes,
Grassy area.
yes, sir.
The minimum
Yeah.
of any, minimum wise in a lot of cricket fields about 250, about 200, but it is preferably 300,
Yeah.
like what, what to
like
say.
different big
Right.
baseballs.
Yeah.
In a circle, right? Isn't it traditionally
It could
playing?
be oval, circle, round, just a field, even could be a square field, as long as that big that accommodates, the square, the pitch in the middle and then, so that's why there's 20. Sure.
You have an out of bounds line?
Well, some
league.
league, they put flags out, like if the ball hits out, they don't have to run, because the score, they have to run back and forth, the score, right? But in some league, they just put these flags on the outer perimeter, like 250, 300. So if you hit the ball out there, it's a home run. You don't have to run. It's automatically 3 or 6 point, whatever the league decides.
Okay.
But yes, sir.
So is there a way for us to bring this to another meeting, just for time's sake, because I know we're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we would love to do
Right.
is work with this group to move forward on a near-term
Yeah.
solution. And then we have for a longer term, we did give them the parks enhancement request form.
Okay.
And, especially offering to help with that project with the concrete and everything. So the request form, you probably already read through it, but it just asks like, what you can do and what you would expect the city to do. And then those get reviewed in August.
Okay.
And then, once those get reviewed, they'll come back to the Parks Board.
Yeah, because I'd like
But
to
in the
look at
meantime, we'd
which-
love to, and it is a highly, congested area at Woodland Creek Park where you're currently playing. And so we are concerned about
Yeah.
somebody maybe, getting hurt. Also going into the summer, that's
Yeah.
the busiest time.
Busy times, yes.
Yep,
Yeah, 'cause
so
I'd like
we
to know
will work
what the
together.
options are. I mean, if
Yeah.
we're saying these are the parks that would work for you versus which, for permanent, we have 32. Which ones would be your permanent request and which ones can we use as portable, I think would be kind of that would be the best way for us to assess. I think, and it comes back to us and we review it. Is that, I think that's the fairest way to look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
portable versus the permanents, and that would satisfy your league of 60 players that you're gonna need out there.
Was more, that's just our team.
Yeah, right, exactly.
talking
So if
about-
you
yeah.
start and then you get bigger or
Yes.
it happens, I mean, I think that at least gets it off the ground to look at where you could put the portables.
Okay.
But yeah, just for time's sake.
Okay, no, I
Yeah,
got you.
because we got another,
Yes, you did,
yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited.
Thank you for your presentation,
I know,
because
yeah.
it's very educational and what a great sport, right?
Just a real quick and stuff, there's a field behind Nisqually Middle School. Is that like, that whole open space, is that a park or is that a?
No, so I think you're talking about Bucknell, the Bucknell site. It belongs to the school district.
Okay.
And it used to be ball fields.
Right, I
Yep.
remember that.
Yep, and they ended up having to take all the infrastructure out. The
Right.
irrigation is not good.
And there's one behind that.
Right, oh, so you're talking about the middle school
Yeah, middle
field.
school, yeah.
Actually, I heard staff talking about looking at that as an option.
Oh, okay.
So they're unturning every stone.
Yeah, gonna walk that one, yeah.
Yeah, so that's potential.
It's just.
There's no irrigation.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
But-
Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was public land because there was housing in the backside over there. The school across the
Yes.
field. So, but that's a nice location too,
That's there's part of it is part of Nisqually Middle School property, but there's no irrigation, so the field isn't in great condition. And then the rest of it is the school district's Bucknell site. They're planning to potentially put an early learning center on that property.
Okay,
So,
all right. All right, that's why I didn't put it on there.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
I would kind of like to have a portable next month, that we, if it's feasible.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yes, thank
we
you
will
so
contact
much.
you.
Appreciate you very, very much.
You guys wanna come up to the table?
All right, and then, yep, the next item we have is new business for the free little library project agreement and a presentation by Jackie Mears.
And I'll kick this one off too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for these next two agenda items, these are projects that in the future will get vetted through the new enhancements program policy, but you'll probably remember me saying before you all approve that new policy and the new form, that we had some projects that the prior Parks Board had already given the thumbs up on to proceed. But we just got delayed with that, and now we have the new policy in effect, we can start using that new system. But this is one of them that, thank you so much, you've been so patient with us. And we thought it would be just nice, since they first came to Parks Board in 2021 for Girl Scout Troop 45298, to tell a little bit about their project. We did put the proposal in your packet so that you could read on it. And if you guys want me to share that screen, that's fine, or if you just want to do a verbal, that works too.
That was so nicely done, I have to say.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. I know, there's constructions and all kinds.
Very nice.
Very well put together, yes.
I can just go through it verbally if that's easier. But yeah, we're Troop 45298. We have 4 members now that for this coming school year are going into 7th and 9th grade. And our whole group is really passionate about reading, and all of us really wanted to share that reading with the community as part of our Silver Award project for the Girl Scouts. And we thought that a free mini library would be just amazing to be able to put, and we thought Wonderwood Park would be an ideal place just because it is a little bit farther away from the library than other places. So it'd be harder to get those access to books, and also just to share reading with the community close to us, because all of us are close to that park. We were planning on placing the mini library near the Stykes Drive entrance. And we were planning on working with Jamie Oakland on the positioning and also materials and all that to use. We were planning on maintaining it by doing routine checkups on it and spraying it with a protectant sealant to protect from graffiti and any other damage that may come to it. Is there any?
Great, so we did put the agreement in the packet, and hopefully you've all had a chance to read through that. And what's great about our new enhancements policy is that it connects these projects to our comprehensive plan, and it shows that the goals and the mission align. So we did put that wording in the contract. So yeah, looking for a motion to approve the agreement to move forward with the project. And of course, if you have any questions.
I have a quick question. There's so much in the news about banning books and issues like that. Do you have any thoughts on?
Well, we want to have a really diverse spectrum of books in the mini library for everyone in our community. And we also do recognize that the mini library will be geared towards younger children, or just kind of children in general. So we also want to have more books in the mini library that is on their comprehension level and things that they can understand. But overall, just a very broad spectrum of books all across different topics and all of that.
Good, thank you.
So just during the school months, summer months, I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's when we'll be installing it. We were planning on installing it in probably early September, right?
But it's year round. It's open year round.
Yes, it's gonna be open year round.
I saw it was weatherproof. I did study your drawing.
Yeah.
and proposal. I thought it was well done. Yeah, I think it's awesome.
And then the books will be set for kids that are 7th to 9th graders. So there's a set for who would be allowed to read and put books in, or we?
No, our troop specifically is 7th to 9th graders. But the mini library will be for everyone, K through 12, and then there might even be some books that adults would enjoy, but we are mostly trying to gear it towards children and kind of incite that passion for reading and learning.
Sorry it took so long for this to
Yeah,
come up.
thank you for your patience.
No, we totally understand with all the COVID and everything, and then different changes and everything. We're just glad that we're able to continue this now.
Does anyone online have questions or concerns for troop 45298?
Not at this time. I'm just glad they were able to move forward with it.
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting project. We live right by Wonderwood Park, so I'm excited to partake. I have a 3-year-old son.
Get a lot of traffic.
You might have to install 2 later.
All right, so I am going to make a motion to approve the Free Little Library Project Agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the Free Little Library Project Agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. Congratulations on your.
Thank you so
Good job.
much.
Yay, I can't wait to see it in September. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It's a win for all of us.
And then Jackie, I know you already signed the agreement, but we're gonna send it to you through DocuSign. So that's how we normally route our agreements, so.
Yes,
thank
that
you.
makes sense.
Great job, Amelia.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you need anything,
Sorry about that.
congratulations.
Good job.
Good job. Well done. And we're moving on to new business 8C, the Regional Athletic Complex Kiosk Project MOU.
Yes, thank you. So this is another one of those projects that had already started before we did the new enhancements policy, and it has been in the works. It's actually going on 2 years now. It needs to be an agreement between the Historical Commission for the city and the county's Historical Commission, but it's technically an interlocal agreement because it's 2 government agencies, because those commissions obviously report or were appointed by the city council. So so it has a little bit of a different format. We'd like to, for the enhancements, try to keep the same format as much as possible, just so that you all get used to that format and just keep consistency. But yeah, this one is a little bit different. I wanted to show you where it would be at the rack. So I am looking for the right document. There it is. I just need to share it. So when I go to share, it's not there. Is it big enough for you guys to see? Thank you, Jamie, for emailing me this. Let's see. So if you drive into the rack, and you turn to the left over, like you're going towards the soccer complex, this is the basketball half courts. So this is the location right here. So I think you've all been to this facility, but this is the location that maintenance had met with historical commissioners. I think Sue met them out there as well. And this was the preferred location. And what it is they would like to, it's kind of brilliant. They want to cross promote, history in Lacey and also information about Lacey Museum at this sports facility, so that there's a lot of exposure. And it's not only sports enthusiasts that go to the rack, people also take their children just to play, and there's a lot of people who walk and do other fitness activities and just enjoy the park. So with 1.2 million people coming through the rack, it's a high traffic area. And the County Historical Commission has funding that they would love to be able to produce these panels on this kiosk. So it is, and it's also, the Lacey Historical Commission is in support. It's on their work plan for this year, so they're really excited about it. Since it is on park property, we are looking for approval from this board It'll actually go next to the Historical Commission as well, since it is on their work plan. And this is something that will ultimately go to the Lacey City Council and the Board of County Commissioners. So it's kind of an exciting, it's kind of a big deal.
And just
So
for
looking for,
clarification, yeah, so just for clarification, are these permanent panels? Will this be like a history of Lacey that are permanent? They're not like changeable? It's
they
not-
can be changeable.
Oh,
So it's kind of cool because if there's something else that they would like to highlight, dependent on funding, but they can change them out. They won't be changed out very often, but they can.
oh, okay, so. It's good to know. All right, is there any questions from anyone online or in?
So that doesn't come out of our budget, it's all these other.
That's correct. You're right. So in the contract, it outlines who does what. And so we can pull it up and look at the specifics, but they're funding the kiosk itself and the construction and the panels. The
Oh, I do have a question.
Thurston County Historical Commission.
Yeah, I have a question about the cultural part. But what items are going to be displayed? I mean, what type of history are?
Oh, yeah.
Just for
I would have to
clarification.
find that list.
Or we can bring it to we can approve it. And just give it a
Okay,
shot.
I can provide that information for you. I don't think I have it at my fingertips, but let me look. I think Commissioner.
And Commissioner Fosbury, do you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick one. Maybe this goes to Sue. It says we're gonna pay for moving the irrigation lines in the area. Do we have any irrigation lines where these panels are gonna be put in? Because that water work can be kind of expensive.
Yeah, that would be a good question for Jamie if you're still on. Do you know,
Yeah,
Jamie?
I mean, I do. We do have irrigation in there, but it's just there's no main lines we're moving or wires. It'd just be the laterals themselves for that zone.
Okay, thanks, Jamie.
My question was similar to Wendy's about what kind of history are we going to be displaying? I think I've been learning a little bit more about the Medicine Creek Treaty and just I think it's really, I hope that the plan is to include just tribal history and history of everyone here, not just settler history. So I would be curious to know what type of history is going to be put up there.
Yeah, because it was kind of broad. I mean, information.
Yes, and I can email you all the latest plan for the panels.
Okay.
I don't think I can find it as quickly as you might need for right now, but I'm happy to send that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do know that is a priority, Commissioner Dykstra. If you read the whereas, let's see, I have this up on the screen.
It's in the third one, but.
So one of the responsibilities is to participate in, promote, and conduct public information, educational and interpretive programs pertaining to historic resources and cooperate with other local government entities and Native American groups and or sovereign nations as well. Further historical preservation objectives, including public education within Lacey. So that's definitely one of the missions. And this is the Lacey Museum mission right here. So yeah, again, I am happy to send you all the panels.
I'd just like
Would you like to see what they're working on?
Yeah, see
Yeah.
what it looks like and, yeah.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Are there any more questions or? I don't see any online. Anybody have questions here? All right. So I'll be looking for a motion for the approval, or I'm going to make a motion for the approval of the Regional Athletic Complex Kiosk Project MOU. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Or is there any further discussion? One last time. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the Regional Athletic Complex Kiosk Project MOU, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Motion is approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. All right, new business D, upcoming meetings, and I'm gonna do this the best I can, and please correct me as I go forward. But based on an email that was sent out to all of us on May 25th, it's been requested that we add a Lacey Park Culture and Recreation meeting to Monday, June 12th, and cancel our July 5th meeting due to all the activities happening at the beginning of July. And also we need to have our Lacey Park Commission comprehensive plan submitted. Is that, this will be our
Yeah,
final.
so we're having a focus, it's because tonight's agenda is so packed, just having some real good focus time on one agenda topic meeting. Which you might recall, I said we might need to do towards the end.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a big project. Yeah, so that would be much appreciated if that's agreeable for the board.
And would you like us to tell you whether we can do that at this meeting, or would you like it emailed? Because we will need a quorum.
Yes, we just sent it out as a heads up so that you could be thinking about it and before this meeting. And so yeah, if you could let us know if it works for you, and if so, what time would be best.
Why can't we have an action on it?
Well, we will, but I need to know if we can have a quorum, if we were gonna have enough commissioners who can attend.
I can make it on the June the 12th, right?
Yep, it's Monday.
Yeah, this, anytime after 5:30.
I can be there.
So let's go through, will Sarah count for us here?
Yes.
Okay, so Commissioner Fosbury, would you be able to attend the meeting? on
Yes, if it's at 5:30 on Monday
5:30 on Monday, okay.
or after. I mean, if you have to make it later, that's fine too.
So we have Commissioner Fosbury is a go at 5:30. Commissioner Wheeler, would you be able to attend? All right, that's a
Yes.
go, a thumbs up. Commissioner Dykstra?
Yes.
All right. And Commissioner Larson, is it 2 thumbs up? That's a yes. Commissioner Perazzo is unable to attend, unable, and Commissioner Chair Goodwin can go. I will be there.
What about Commissioner Town?
Commissioner Town, would you like to go?
What day?
On June 12th at 5:30 PM.
I think I can.
You think I can? Okay, we'll put her as a maybe. We'll let her, she's very busy. She's got lots of things going on. Yes. And then that we will cancel the July 5th meeting is how this will read as I do an action for this emotion.
Yeah, if you all would like to cancel, it's pretty typical when it's that close to the 4th of July. The first Wednesday falls that close. It is up to you. It'd probably be a very light agenda, I will say, because our main focus is the comp plan at this point.
So I will read this as a motion and then you can approve or nay as we see fit.
Second.
All righty. So I would like to make a motion based on that email from the 25th that we will have our June 12th Monday meeting at 5:30 PM and cancel our July 5th meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second.
It has been motioned and seconded. All those is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, see everybody on June 12th except for Commissioner Perazzo. We'll take notes.
Okay,
You're welcome. Take notes. And we do have a quorum. All right, and then we're moving on to item 8E, the 2023 Lacey Parks Culture and Recreation Comprehensive Plan.
Or 7B?
Or 7B, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I moved
oh,
it to
you
8.
moved it to 8E.
Yeah,
Oh.
to 8E, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we just, so you'll notice there's no action item for this one. We did put the full latest draft, and this is very, very close to what the final draft is gonna be as far as content goes. We did put it in your packet. I'm happy to answer any questions you have tonight, but otherwise you can just table the discussion to Monday. So.
I'm fine to table till Monday. Table. Any opposed to that, tabling until Monday? All right, thank you. All right, moving on to 9, Director's Report. We have staff presentation by Jenny Wilson, who I haven't seen in forever. I'm so excited to have you here, our Recreation Supervisor. Welcome.
You, if you want me to, or you can take the. Just gonna get it. Oh, I have to share though. Sorry. Forget. Trying to escape out. Gosh, no, I did it. Hold on one sec. And show. We have to share first, so everybody can see it at home. Okay, I'm just gonna hand this on over to you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I'm Jenny Wilson. I'm the athletics supervisor and volunteer program supervisor. I've worked for the department for about 21 years. I know it's hard to believe because I'm so young looking. I started in the department as a rec coordinator. I ran team programs, day camp, special events, and so moved to recreation supervisor where I've done aquatics and recently special projects. We did the community outreach program. So yeah, today I'm here to talk to you about aquatics and volunteer programs. So we're going to start with aquatics and our swim lesson program. It is by far our most popular program. It is this year we had, well, 2022, we had 1,200 kids registered for swim lessons. During the school year, we offered lessons 1 day a week format. We had them on Sundays and on Wednesday evenings. Our upcoming swim lessons in the summer switched to 2 days or Mondays, Wednesdays, Tuesday, Thursdays in 2-week format. We're on track for 2023 to have the same number of kids, about 1,200. Our biggest challenge for swim lessons is staffing. We're certainly not having as many kids as we have. We have quite a few kids on swim lesson wait list. And that is really just because we don't have enough staff to meet the need. We also have family open swim. About 900 people signed up for that program in 2022. We offered it on Sundays. Currently, we're offering it every other Sunday, again, due to staffing. They were getting a little burned out working every Sunday. So this summer, we're changing the schedule a little bit and we're offering it on Wednesday evenings.
That's
What's that fun thing?
Oh, it's a big float that we have in the pool.
Oh,
That's North
That's
Thurston,
fun.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I've sat in there many and many a swim.
Use it.
Oh my gosh, I've sat, yeah, those cement stairs, so many nights.
Looks fun. Right, the cement stairs are not super comfortable to sit
Oh.
on.
It's very hot there.
Yes. We also have adult aqua fitness programs. 2022, we had about 200 people sign up for just lap swim. And we also have a program called On Your Own in the Deep, which is basically just come, you have open time for in the deep end. And we had about 100 signed up for that. It's offered year round, 3 nights a week. By far the most popular is just open lap swim time. It fills up every single time within like 4 minutes of registration opening. And I want to say that we had about 75 people on wait lists throughout 2022. So again, really hard to keep up with the demand, mainly due to staffing. So the other part of my job is also scheduling pool use by outside user groups. In 2022, I scheduled about 1,800 hours of pool time to other user groups. So that's like competitive swim teams. Lacey Fire Department uses our pools, Thurston County Sheriffs. We have limited like private pool rentals, again, just because of staffing. But we are trying to keep, the fire departments, the groups that really need the pool use for training. So we try to keep that as much as possible. Also, I am in charge of a summer police detail at Long Lake Park. And so we, for the last several years, have had a police officer scheduled at Long Lake Park. And this is really part of their community policing efforts. They're out there, they have positive interaction with all the people that are at the lake. We do ask them to keep track of what they're interacting with people about. This is a Facebook post that they made this year. It's hysterical. That's awesome. I know. And I think that's kind of the tone of what they're doing when they're out there. They're not always on a float, but I think
It's impressive he's on there without getting wet.
I know,
I would have
I
been
know.
topped over in the water. I'm like, yeah, this-
exactly. And so you can see that their positive interactions with the public is the most significant thing that they're dealing with out there. The next is smoking and vaping. So it is a rule out there, but it's just a rule that people, I don't think that they realize it's a rule. So they do enforce that. Surprisingly, this year, they had a lot of fishing enforcement. So a lot of people are out there fishing and they didn't know that that was a rule. Alcohol was up next. Not a lot of other issues that they had to deal with. So in response to that, we do have some signs on the way into the park. I did update the signs and we didn't have fishing on the signs. So I added that. I added smoking and vaping. It was on the sign, but I just reordered it. So smoking and vaping is now number one. Fishing was added. And alcohol has always been on there, same with dogs. So just making some of the more important rules more visible. Volunteer programs. I'm in charge of the Adopt a Trail and Adopt a Park program. Just have some photos of some of our groups to put faces to the names. So Friendly Flower Garden Club, Junior League of Olympia, OB Credit Union. Oh no. And then just some, companies, but we also just have some families, like father and son. I didn't get pictures of all of them, so the other ones are listed there. We also have special event volunteers that are really important at most of our events. Also very helpful to have these volunteers at events, and also gives a lot of our teen volunteers their credits for graduation. They need those, so it's very helpful. And new this year, we have an agreement with a group called Northwest Youth Corps, and they are going to be working in our parks for 2 weeks this summer, and it's for 15 to 18-year-olds. They're going to be removing ivy, blackberry bushes at Lake Lois and Woodland Creek Park. They get job training and conservation education. We get 9 to 10 teens in our parks making quite a bit of difference on invasive plants. They also get a stipend, so it's kind of a volunteer program. They also get a stipend. So
Will this be posted on Facebook or social media, or how is that going out to our community members?
yeah,
we can.
yes,
Just to let people know what's
Yeah.
going on.
I would love it for the 15 to 18-year-olds. Yeah, if I could get something, I will.
Yeah.
I got some for you.
yeah.
Help you with.
Well, we have, so the,
Are they already signed up?
yes,
Okay.
so, okay, I didn't know if you meant
Oh,
just to let people know that we're doing
That
it.
that too.
Or if it's to recruit, because they do the recruit, they hire
right.
the kids.
Yes.
at
So it's kind of a
Northwest.
contracted program where the youth corps gets the teens, and we work with the group directly.
But if that can be posted so we can see that, that'd be really.
Yeah,
helpful.
okay,
At least
yeah.
route if we know kids, we can
Yes.
route them there at least. I mean.
Well,
or is
yeah,
that
we
all-
can, yes, we can certainly direct kids to Northwest Youth Corps
Okay,
if they're interested. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I would like, is how do I route them there?
Yeah.
That would be great. But this is an awesome program.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. It's awesome.
And what's kind of interesting is they have they do this a lot with a lot of parks departments. They do a lot of ivy removal. And I think they're pretty excited because for one day, it just happened that the 2 weeks that they're going to be working with us falls on the 3rd of July. So they're going to be working on the 3rd of July, helping with setup. So I think that's pretty different for them. I think they're.
And it is
excited.
fabulous for us
Right.
because we need
Yeah.
staff.
Right, exactly. And then, of course, a big source of our volunteers are one-time volunteer groups. We had JBLM come out last week at Lake Lois. We have tons of youth basketball coaches, t-ball coaches. Museum has volunteers, and of course, you guys are all volunteers, and the Historic Commission. New this year, we are going to have a volunteer appreciation event on August 11th, so first time, and so save the date for that. And that is all that I had for you guys. Do you have any questions for me?
That was at Rainier Vista, you said?
Yes. I will get formal invitations
Ooh.
of some sort.
Oh, all right. What are we going to do?
Oh, we have Maconie's, you'll have food. I think we're gonna have some lawn games, probably some music.
Oh, okay. All right.
So thank you. So we're really excited, and I just wanted to tell Jenny, good job on all of this, but also we're really excited about having the first volunteer recognition event. So she's put it all together and we're very excited about that.
I am very excited about that.
Yeah.
I love meeting.
Dean says, thank you, like free food.
I did, well, I do love free food, yes. So people are willing to feed me.
And I think Commissioner Prazo had a question about the one part.
Oh, yeah. North Meridian, North Meridian Park, right? Yes, so that is so a lot of times we work with park maintenance on, they say, they'll come up with, hey, we have a need of work done in this park. And so then we create the list, and then when we have a group that's interested, we'll put it out to them. North Meridian Park and some other parks kind of goes backwards, where we don't really have a ton of need for work in that. We would never say, hey, we need this park taken care of, but there's a volunteer that lives across the street and they have, I see Scotch broom in that, small parcel, and I want to take care of it. So that's how it worked with North Meridian Park, is that that gentleman lives across the street. He came to us and said, I see Scotch broom, I'd like to take care of it. So it kind of worked in reverse. And sometimes that happens it wasn't.
He said he was through the forest agency, not necessarily the city. That's what, because I got his phone number and we talked.
Oh.
And he's like, no, I'm a forest ranger. That's my volunteer.
Oh.
Well, he's volunteering through us.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know Frank? I mean, he's
Frank?
working.
Or
Al,
Al.
sorry, Al.
Oh,
That's his name.
yeah, he works with me on it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Maybe does forestry for other projects, or I don't know,
I
but were you,
distinctly asked him, I'm like, I saw your name on the plaque. What are you doing?
Oh,
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, whoever, that's good he's doing Scotch broom.
yeah,
'cause I hate
I
that
email
stuff.
him all the time.
yeah, and that's a park that's actually not open to the public yet,
No.
but he's helping by keeping the invasives out. And again, to Jenny's point, it works out. And if people want to help him, I think he's open to that.
Yeah.
And we can pass on his information.
Well, good. I'm glad to know there's a contact.
Yeah,
person.
absolutely. And most all of the volunteer groups that I work with for Adopt a Trail and Adopt a Park are open to anybody willing to join. I can give their contact information out, and they're open
So
to.
glad to have a name to because I'm on the board for that area
Oh, okay.
for
Yeah.
Meridian campus. And we do not want a skate park there. That would not be appropriate for that area.
Oh, Meridian North or Meridian?
It's that letter. is
Meridian
like,
North.
how about-
Oh, one of the letters that they wanted to see.
Al and I would prefer a passive park one day.
That's one that needs a master plan done on it.
It's coming.
Oh, I think Commissioner Frosby has a question.
Thank you.
Hi, Jane, thank you for going through that with the volunteers. And you mentioned that they're going to be working at the July 3rd festival. Could we get a mini briefing next week at our June 12th meeting on what kind of the safety measures the city's gonna put in place for that festival. I mean, last year when we had the shooting death, I'm just curious, since it's gonna be held at a park, you know, we might have some responsibility related to this.
If the rest of the board would like to put that on the June 12th agenda, I'd be happy to do that.
Please.
And if not, you can just send me something.
Yeah, it's up, if you tell us to put it on there, we will, or we can also email it out.
I think it
So-
would be a benefit for safety. I mean, what we're gonna do for the future, I'm fine with that. Yep. I
We have it on the agenda, so it's noted
Mhm.
that it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the-
well, yeah, we can certainly add that. It'll be a two agenda meeting instead of one agenda. Does that work?
Yes. Yes, please.
Any other questions for Jenny?
I'm excited to see you again. Thank you, Jenny,
Yeah,
for all
good
you
seeing
do.
you too.
Thank you for
Yes,
everything. I
thank you. Your little-
appreciate it very
The
much.
little community outreach has really turned into quite a jump in your volunteer.
Yes, my reach is far. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it all started with you. I mean, you and Jen, like doing the survey, like you said, we started with Robin Vasquez and me and you and yeah, I was just handing out pieces of paper at that point, but yeah, it's turned into amazing stuff.
And now it's all written up in the comp plan.
I know,
so
it's amazing
cool.
work. Yeah.
For sure.
I'll
All right. Well, thank you, Jenny,
Yeah,
and
thank you
you're
so
welcome
much.
to stay or.
Oh,
peel
yeah,
off.
no, I'll stay.
All right, we don't have anything for, well, let's ask Sue, is there anything for Sports Commission?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick deal. They are still accepting for the 2023 Sports Award nominations are open until July 31st. If you guys have anybody that you know of, the different categories are Sports Legend of the Year, Sports Contributor of the Year, Sports Moment of the Year, High School Sports Star of the Year, girls, and the High School Sports Star of the Year for the boys, and College Sports Star of the Year for both the women and the men. So you can go to the Olympia and Beyond, Experience Olympia and Beyond, if you have anybody, and get a hold of Jeff Bowe. If you'd like to nominate anybody, because it's really a great program, and any way that we can recognize some of these young athletes is phenomenal. That's pretty much all I have for the Sports Commission.
Great, thank you. Do you want to do the programs and special events?
Yep. I'm going to kind of just do an overview of that. I'm not going to talk about aquatics and volunteers because Jenny pretty much filled us in completely on that, and that was great. We did have Fun Fair, which was a big success. We had 68 vendor booths and over 50 kids worth booths. Big thank to everybody that was coming. We will be starting up the Lacey and Tune lineup. It's completed. It was posted on our website and our new Facebook page with there's 6 weeks of the children's entertainment, noon concerts, and the Friday night concerts and movies with food trucks in the park. We are going to be offering the Thursday play in the parks as well. And as we know, we have the July 3rd coming up, which is always a great fun event for everybody. For community yes, you have a question? Okay, well,
Did you say 3rd of July already?
Yeah.
Is that what you just said? Okay, I just, Jeanette had me bring these, they're passes and parking passes for the Parks Board members. You can use it or not use it. And for those of you, I'll pass them out to those that are here, but just let me know if you want me to put one at the front desk for you. Or bring it to June 12th. Well, I'll just bring the rest to June 12th. But if you're gonna be online for that meeting, just let me know if you want me to put one at the front desk for you. That's all.
So then we'll move on to community recreation. Day camp is looking great this year. They're almost full. Most weeks are full with 40 campers, and there are wait lists. We are going to be having our summer Playground Pals program again, and that'll be held at Mountain View and at Lydia Hawk Elementaries. That's a free afternoon program for anybody to come into. There's the lunch, and then they have some activities for the kids afterwards. Specialty camps like TC Media, Bricks for Kids, and the Chess Wizards are all starting to get filled up. We've got a bunch of really exciting new programs that are in the lineup for the fall that Lauren's been working on. And we're also going to be bringing back Summer Teen Camp this year. And we've ramped up the promotion for this program, and hopefully we'll have increased participation. Our outdoor trips and tours and hikes have been going like gangbusters. They're back up to pre-COVID numbers. Summer registration for a lot of these adventures are already shaping up and they're going to be going. Some of the trips that are going to be offered is the Sequim Lavender Festival, a Puffin Cruise, a Portland Chinese Gardens, Seattle waterfront, 8 caves and trails, and Trail of Two Forests, and a bunch of other fun kind of adventures. The rack full as normal. In May, we had 12 tournaments, or actually not in May. We had 12 tournaments January through March, which for those 3 months had an economic impact of $2,654,000. We held 27 total tournaments from January through May. We have 101 May football or softball bookings, 126 May soccer bookings. Some of the fun events coming up is we had the PSPL High School Championships. We had the Cal Ripkins end of the season. We did the WIAA 3A State Fast Pitch Tournament, and TCYFL added a new 7-on-7 football on Friday nights that has been very successful. We've got, sports and fitness coming up. We've hired some new staff. We're really excited for our summer kids programs. We've got T-ball coming up for the 3 to 9-year-olds, which takes, it's a great program. It's great kids started. It's a great volunteer. The parents, we have a parent volunteer group that helped run that program for us. And we've just, everything's getting registered for summer and it's going really well. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job, Sue.
I don't know how you keep it all.
I didn't do it. They're all doing it.
Somebody's got to be the orchestra, the conductor, keeping it all moving.
I'm orchestrating from my couch these days, so.
Yeah. How are you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah, I just broke my leg.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're on the mend. Be careful.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sue.
Yep.
Yeah, lots going on, as you can tell, always, right? All right, so I don't have anything for D or E, but I did put something in the packet for F, which is the capital budget request. I thought you might be interested to see what we'll be submitting for. Find my packet here again. Oh. Keep you busy for a second. So we are needing to convert the rack ball fields to LED lighting. And so that's something that I will be putting a request through for and looking to potentially apply for grant funding. And then we did apply for some federal dollars and we made it through kind of like the first screening for that. And so we're hopeful that we can get $675,000 for that. So more to come on that, but I do need to start the process by putting in the budget request, and those are due here pretty soon in a couple weeks. So we are looking at some rack Wi-Fi upgrades so that for tournaments, there is better service for our users and coaches and tournament directors. We are looking at doing a wetland delineation over at the McKinney House. This is actually one that is on the Historical Commission's work plan, but it's an old historic house over at Lake Lois Habitat Reserve. It's right across the street from the senior center over at Woodland Creek Park. This one is past due, the William A. Bush Park playground replacement. It's the ages 5 to 12. The ages 2 to 5 is newer, but the 5 to 12 is the oldest in our system currently. And so that's something that needs to be replaced. The Longs Pond fishing dock needs rebuilding. There's some rot that's happening underneath. So that's something that is going to be crucial for us to put a budget capital request through for. And then this is one of those long-term requests that we've been working on with the Thurston County Pickleball Association, is expansion of adding 4 more courts next to the current courts out there at Rainier Vista. The Pickleball Association has committed $25,000 toward the project. So that'll be helpful when I submit the request. There might be a possibility that I can apply for RCO grant funding as well, so looking into that right now. But we would like to, if possible, get some netting up between the baseball field there that backs up against the pickleball courts too, as a part of that project. And then we've already been approved for $25,000 for 2 ping pong tables. This was a pre-COVID project that got canceled, and then we had to put in for that. And so there could be some cost savings if we just do it all together in one project. And so that's why there's outdoor ping pong on there as well. So happy to answer any questions you might have about those.
On the McKinney House wetland delineation, how is that being split up? Is that part, or is the funding coming both from the from Historical Commission and from the budget for the parks? Or is that-
Historical Commission doesn't have a budget, so it's all the same
Okay, so
budget. I was just pointing out that it's on their work plan because it's a historic house, but it's at a park habitat reserve. So this is another one of those kind of crossover.
but
You all
it's
should
in
know about it.
pretty bad shape.
It's in really
right?
bad shape, right? Yeah, so
I mean,
yeah.
how does that work for?
Well,
the
yeah, so the
budget?
idea here is to try to figure out what can be done on that site.
Okay.
Because it's obviously in a habitat reserve, and so there might be limitations on what could actually be done. And then it's just a matter, after we do that, of figuring out just what the next step would be. So, but we have to start somewhere and try to figure it out, so.
Now, do you use in-house wetland or your staff to do that, or do you use consultants?
No, we would use a consultant for this one.
They do the whole park.
Well, for the wetland delineation, we're just looking at just the area that the McKinney House is sitting on as a first phase. Because we really want to drill down on exactly what can be done there at the site.
Oh, this whole thing is pretty much.
Well, I guess that's why,
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't have said it as budget. I guess it was more, how are they going to separate the work? Is it going to be a preservation of land? And then they are they trying to preserve the actual house itself?
What we want to do is see, there's been some different ideas floated, like could it be an interpretive center? Could it actually be like a business? Could there be, some type of partnership that something could be done with the building? But the first step to seeing what we can do is looking at what I guess you could say, restrictions of that site are. Then once we know the rules of what we're working with, then we
I
can
think
figure
a
out.
lot of them would be grandfathered in because it's prior to any of the state or any wetland delineation, it's been there a long time.
1900s.
The building itself, what you can do outside of that limit might be restrictive, but the glory is you have the park across, the community center across the street. It's a good relationship there,
Yeah, so more to come on that, but those are budget requests. At least the capital. Oh, yes, Commissioner Crosby.
Sorry, Director. Have we contacted Puget Sound Energy regarding the LED replacement to see if they have any grant or low-cost options?
Um,
I'm assuming you have, because it's
I
Common
believe
Power, we
so.
do that for both the
Yeah,
school districts as part of our energy conservation programs.
Yeah, I believe so. There is a project manager from Ashley, who you met, from her team, who.
Okay.
Leading up that. effort.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah, but thank you it never hurts to bring up funding opportunities. So thank you for that.
Sarah,
does
one parking spot? Little parking spot? Come show your friends. Yeah, look at me. That's right. You gotta have a perk. They show the youth counselors a perk to be on park. Look, I can.
And since Jenny covered volunteers, I don't have anything for that. So 9H. So this is the last one for tonight. That is something that would come to you with the enhancements program that you recently approved. Because benches are included on that list in the request form. But what happened is this one came in before that policy again. And so I did approve a small Ken Balsley Memorial Fund to be set up. And the family really wanted a bench over at Civic Plaza. Ken Balsley, as you know, was on the Parks Board for, say, 2 terms. He was on the Historical Commission for 13 years with the city. And those of you who knew him, he was pretty much involved in everything in Lacey.
Even wrote a song
He
for Lacey.
helped, he did write a song about Lacey, yes.
A Lacey song.
He did write a song, yes, and they played it when he got the Spirit of Lacey Award. But he loves Civic Plaza and met over there with his comrades every week. He was instrumental in getting the Lacey Civic Plaza built. And so we thought it appropriate, and donors have pitched in to purchase a bench over there. There are a couple of benches already, but it's just such a perfect thing for him. And there's going to be more people coming to visit now that the Gold Star Monument is there, probably more need for seating. So I do have a photo of where it will go. So it'll go here, the monument is over here. Whoops. Oh, this is before it went to.
It's before everything was
Before it went
put
in,
in.
yeah. I was like, where's the
Yeah,
monument?
there's no monument because I got the chain link up over.
Yeah, so there are, is that the sidewalk? Yeah, there are 2 benches right by the sides, 2 sides of the Gold Star Monument, but this would be the one for Ken Balsley. And I want to thank Jamie, if he's still on, for helping us find the location for this.
That's turning out to be a very beautiful spot now. It used to be kind of just like a pass through, but it's really, like, it really stands out now. I was very impressed. Every time I walk past or walk through there, it's very nice.
So I am looking for a motion, and I apologize, I didn't put it as an action item on your
So we're approving
agenda,
the
but
memorial
I'm
fund?
looking for a motion, yes, because this is something, I figured that's the right thing to do, since this is something now that we have the new policy that will come before you, so. Might as well get the approval.
I would like to make a motion to approve the Kim Balsley Memorial Fund / bench at Civic Plaza. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All of those in favor, say aye. Is there any
Aye.
discussion?
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We get to have a bench for Kim Balsley.
Thank you.
Yay.
So exciting.
Yay. Congratulations.
His wife will be very pleased.
It'll be packed. The bench will be packed. People have to sit on each other's laps. I never met him.
Oh, and real quick, before we move off of miscellaneous, park maintenance reports, the skate park fencing repairs have been made at Rainier Vista Park, and the paving on the basketball courts at the rec are also all finished. So thank you, Jamie, for giving us that info. And then, as you know, we're hiring a senior parks planner. And so we have interviews scheduled for Monday, June 12th. We reviewed 8 applications and have scheduled 5 interviews for Monday. So I'm very excited about that.
A big day.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, we have the item number 10, Commissioners Report. Do any of the commissioners have anything they would like to report from last month? Anything? Any? You already gave us enough trouble, okay. All right, well, we'll move on to item number 11, Chair's Report. So I have a few things. I'm just kidding. I
Go till Monday.
I do though. We had the hunger walk on May 7th at Huntermore Park, and I just wanted to do a shout out to that amazing event. They raised over $45,000 to benefit the Thurston County Food Bank and our community kitchen here locally. So it was a great event and it was very fun and animals got to attend this year. So that was even better. We had the Public Service Recognition Week, which happened on May 10th at Capitol Campus. And it was a wonderful event, and Altavia is who put that on, and she did a wonderful job of getting us all sorted as community members. So I'm excited that we're doing something for our volunteers, because I think it speaks volumes when people get to be celebrated, especially as a volunteer. Sometimes it's a silent but awesome job. I love it. We did Stamp Out Hunger, the food drive on May 13th at our local post offices, to include our Lacey post office. But that was an amazing event. They raised over 66,377 pounds of food, which is critical to our food projects. And I want to thank the letter carriers, donors, and the volunteers for their hard work, because that is a lot of food, 66,000 pounds. It's amazing. So awesome work. We also did the Lacey Spring Fun Fair on May 20th and 21st at St. Martin's University. Thank you to everyone who volunteered. I was so happy to see all the people from the city of Lacey in the big booth and the new commissioners there. That was very nice. Thank you, Commissioner Fosbury, for being there. And Jen, it was nice to see you there as well. So thank you for being there. It's nice to see community getting to meet with the city and people who are making meetings happen. It was a great time. I want to also tell the group for the recreation committee, I love the photo and survey that was combined, where you get your photo taken and they would take a survey. That's an amazing idea. So the QR code was on the photo. So I think we should keep that. It makes things a little easier. And then the video that Jordy did for the setting up of the event, and then sharing that on social media was really helpful, and it kind of gave us a insight on what it takes to make that event happen. That is amazing. So great work for all of them. So thank you, everybody. And then the Greg Cuyo Park tour, all the commissioners that got the chance to see it, thank you for being out there. It was a hot day, and it's not very paved. We don't have a lot of infrastructure in place. So I appreciate your resiliency and not getting injured while we were out there. Knocking on wood, yes.
We told you it was bumpy.
It was bumpy, yes. So the Henderson.
The thistles.
The thistle.
Yeah.
Thistle.
And you probably had stinging nettles.
Yeah.
Big time.
Try to stay out of that. Thank you, Jamie, for walking us through all that and keeping us safe. But we did have questions about the Henderson Bay Inlet for salmon spawning and the interpretive signage, wildlife. I think Glennis is gonna wanna set up an appointment of some kind to go out there and just do some video or recordings out there in nature to see what different kinds of wildlife are out there, because she just needs to be by herself. So she might do a trip out there.
Oh,
And
sure.
yeah, just so she can do some of that kind of work. We talked about some of the concerns for the out of bounds for Frisbee golf due to the vegetation. Jamie spoke to that about the blackberry bushes, stinging nettles, so signage for that to keep in mind. We talked about vandalism due to it being such a large and secluded site, and I think that's kind of on our radar. I mean, it happens anywhere, even if we have people living next to it. The pocket neighborhoods being reached out, which we have been doing, reaching out to everybody to talk to them. The tribal and farming land with photos and requested for signage was also discussed again at our meeting, where that should go and how that would look. And Glennis has information on that, but I know the Historical Commission and Parks also have information. And I just want to do a little bit of I don't know what that's called, a little shout out for the volunteering and attending opportunities to help with Lacey in Tune. If you as a commissioner or anybody who's sitting here or listening, if you have the opportunity to either go to the events for Lacey in Tune or help with, setup or just getting out and meeting our community members, it's really helpful, or handing out some of our information. I've met a lot of amazing people by handing out information and flyers, and it's been a great way to kind of get in touch with our community. So that is all I have. And if you would like to join me, like you want to go to something and you're just not sure if you want to, let me know. I'll go with you. I would love to have.
You're a busy lady.
I want to go. Well, I would.
Totally.
I I would really like to go, if you were interested, you know, going on a bus ride, or we could go and do some part of the opportunities that are here to
Buy
handle.
lunch?
I would buy you, Gary, I would buy you lunch.
You would.
Yes. that
Well,
would-
I know this is your report, but I just forgot to say earlier that Commissioner Wheeler is going to be emceeing at the 3rd of July event.
Commissioner Wheeler, woo! Are you gonna play on your guitar in the backdrop there? You gonna play music?
No, I will not. And I've been practicing not swearing too. So I'm gonna try to do a good job.
Gotta keep it PG. Rated G, Commissioner Wheeler.
I told Jen I wanted to be the next Jerry Farmer of Lacey, and so this is my first attempt at emceeing, so I'm excited.
Oh, that's gonna be, well, now I definitely have to go.
Right?
I want to be in the front. I'm like, I'm your #1 fan.
There you go.
Can you give us Commissioner Wheeler t-shirts?
Make it happen, yeah.
That would be awesome. I would totally wear that. Like, I'm Commissioner Wheeler's biggest fan.
Such a good MC.
MC. All right. On that note, are there any questions, concerns, anything to follow up on before we adjourn our meeting? All right, hearing nothing, it is June 7th at 2023 to 7:26 p.m. We are adjourned. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
See you
Bye, thank you.
Bye.